to be a number that represents.
Listen, streaming is so fair that
streaming is fair.
Listen to me. This is the only job in the world where you can make the same amount as Drake. How much are we supposed to be paid?
You're underplaying yourself because you built it on your back. Apple built it on our back. It's different. You built it on your back. Apple, Spotify built it on hip hop's back. The way you stopped them from stealing your Kia Sophia. Right?
I hear you.
I need to put the solution out to the world. Hey, this is how you stop them from stealing your Kia Sophia.
Oh God, this nigga good. Make the same amount as Drake. His stream and your stream worth the same amount of money.
Only you think that.
No. His stream and your stream is worth the same amount of money.
No, they've got good with the propaganda.
See,
Roc Nation situation. When you asked about Hov, what was the thinking? What was they saying?
You know, for me, I guess I'm so personal in my career that I'm like, no, if Hov want to sign me to his label, Hov will come talk to me about it.
Right. So you telling me that the original deal had $0 and they participated
a $15K discretionary fund, but
right,
no
but
money.
that's zero. That's nothing, right, in the grand scheme of things. But I'm saying, and they had participation in they had financial participation in the benefits of the music,
right?
Now niggas want to loon me to death. Salute, Loon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my man, Loon.
That's my man, too.
Both Loons. Old Loon, new Loon, both Loon.
Okay.
Yeah,
All ops must know it's up there and it's stuck there, nigga.
When it's up there, man, it's stuck there.
Shut up.
Yo, let's take a break from the show. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Yeah, I said it, I meant it. It's on the flow. Get it. It's on the flow at Prize Picks. Get it. It's on the flow at Prize Picks. Let me explain something to you. They turning $10 into $1,000 at Prize Picks. You use my code IUTP and you a new sign up. Man, guess what? We shoot something to you, put something on the name, not the game, and put something in your bank. You hear me? Man, listen, pick up what I'm putting down, man. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. All you got to do is test your skills. You ran with Steph Curry, put yours on Steph Curry. You ran with LeBron, put yours on LeBron. You ran with Saquon Barkley, put yours on. Yeah, that's how it go. Kanye Clark, put yours on, right? And if you support me, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Do yourself a favor. Sign up right now, prizepicks.com. Use my code IUTP. Ain't nothing bigger than this airplane. It's up there. Let's get back to the show. We stand for something. It's a different thing, bro. They can't trick me, though. Oh, you know, I create the narrative, so I don't let them trick me with the narratives. I understand narrative tricking. You know what I mean?
Bro, and when you got your own infrastructure and shit, you print your own paper. When a don't have to do nothing but go sit down and turn that mic on and talk about what's happening in life, you print your own paper. It's up to your discretion. A lot of is just not hungry.
Right.
You know?
Exactly what it is. Yo, welcome to It's Up There podcast. I am your active and attractive host.
Come on.
For another episode of the fastest growing podcast on the market right now. I'm in the Bay today, man. You dig what I'm saying? I'm in the Bay. I decided to fly out to the Bay to get with my homeboy, who I've been watching from afar, who is a market maven, who is someone that is a data bank, an information broker.
Come on.
Today we're dealing with the young king, LaRussell. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm well. Gratitude.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah.
It's good to see
the
you.
Information broker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see out here on your compound, man. Tell me a little bit about this, man. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to take this journey and put it in your own hands in that non-traditional way that we've been talking about.
Man, lack of resource. Ultimately, you know, it's like if you from the region and you from the Bay, we don't have labels, we don't have marketing agencies, we don't have a lot of PR firm publicists. Just the infrastructure, you know, to make it as a musician isn't the same as a LA, New York, Nashville,
Right.
Miami.
Right.
You know, like you can't just be walking down the street and run into a LA Reid out here. That is just a different type of game, you
Right.
know. So naturally, you really have to build it if you want to succeed at that level. You have to build it.
That's facts. You just told me you were dropping again. Talk to me about why
Yeah.
you put so much music out and
Come on.
the ability to be free.
Man, I put so much out because I make so much I love, and you know, it's like, why not? And they're like, why you put so much? Why not put so much out?
Because that's
if
the
niggas loving it and fucking with it, and it's paying you and taking care of your family and growing your community. Why would you stop?
On the contrary, though, if people are not loving it, does that stop it?
No, because I love it.
Right.
Right? Like, what you love doesn't supersede what I love. You know, it's something to consider, but it doesn't supersede what I love. When I stop loving it, that's when I stop.
And you still up head over heels.
Man, that's like the one thing that doesn't feel conflicting. You know, it's like when I start rapping, when I start songs I make, when I hear beats, like that's the one thing it just everything else kind of goes away. You know, I could get into that mode and escape. It's the most liberating feeling.
And the business model, we just was talking about when they insert rappers into like the record label or the record business, it kind of slows their run down. I think when we watched Gucci Man back in the day, he would drop a lot, the mixtape era. It's like this is how all these guys built these legendary fan bases.
Bro, even the new it's the same. Like when Kodak was coming in, Rod Wave, it was like you couldn't get enough. You know, I mean, that's why YoungBoy's still on the run he on, because regardless of the quality of music, he giving it.
Exactly.
So like the people who f with him could always find a new reason to f with him. You never slow that motion up.
Do you? But in the same breath, right? If they're allowing, if in my mind I'm a creator and they're accepting almost anything I put out, does that skew my creative passion? Because it's like, yo, they accepting, it's like almost like McDonald's. Yo, they'll eat something called a McDouble. It ain't even a hamburger.
Nope, different, because like as an artist, I should never be making my art based on what you accept. You know, it's like, make the song you love. As simple as that. I think you could still go for, like, if you want to make pop songs, you can still do that, but make the ones you love. Like, really try to put your all into it. It should be, I don't think it should be any fan consideration into making songs, you know, because it's like, once you start trying to do something because somebody said this and trying to do this because they said this and trying to do this because they said this, it could really f up the pot. You know, you start adding ingredients that don't fit what you making. Like, it's home cooked. You know, you can't.
Right.
You can't.
What is the thinking behind that, though? Do you know the record label's thinking behind slowing down? Is that trying to squeeze every dollar out of that project, or like,
you know, part of me don't think it's the labels anymore. I used to be like, it's the labels, they slowing you down, they in a way. And then I had a really great conversation with Dallas Martin.
Shout out to Dallas.
Right? And he was like, man, we want to drop. We just want to drop dope shit. He like, sometimes we'll let it drop some weak shit just because we don't want to be the one in the way of them dropping. But it's like, the labels want product to move. Like,
Right.
why would they want less product to move?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you hot.
Well, here's this though, because I think the labels have interest in the contract, the overall contract. So if I only have LaRussell for 3 albums and he's on his second album and his next album is his exit album, I've seen what labels try to prolong that process to try to use it as some kind of negotiation power, to say, yo, hold on, but you can't drop that one till we get the re-sign. And they keep denying it. They don't say it flat out like that.
I think that only is applicable to them if your shit ain't hitting.
I think they did Young Boy like that. On the way out of Atlantic is what they were allegedly saying, is that on his way out of Atlantic, they were trying to Kodak as well.
I think that applies if your shit ain't hitting. If I come in and I'm Roddy Ricch and my first shit goes platinum, diamond, you think I don't want to put out another one after? I don't care if our contract for 3 years. If you're going to give me more now, why would I wait 3 years later to get it? But if it ain't that, then it's like, we need to have you here until we get that again. You feel me?
Or it could be looked at as a loss for the label if they say, we've made a lot of money, but we dumped $2 million into getting your brand to a place where it's noticeable. It's a very recognizable brand. We're looking at a long game. We don't want to just let this guy walk out of the building. Mm-hmm. And if we even seen 50 Cent play this trick with Young Buck when he was trying to get out of that G Unit contract. It's like, send an album in, no. Send an album in, no. You're saying that you believe it's because the music isn't.
So listen, right? I thought it was that too. And then it was like, we be trying to save from putting out something. We don't want you to fuck up your career. We hear it. We the first to hear, because I thought it was what you were saying too. And sometimes it may be, but hearing that perspective from the inside, it's like, I get that completely. Right? If you making me money, I'm never going to slow you down.
Yeah, but
if I'm losing money, I'm going to want the terms to align in a way that I set them.
So what do you say in the NFL when you got a 2,000 yard rusher per year that they slap the franchise tag on, right? It's like there's business. This ain't all about the money in the moment. Like they're trying to hold some of these generational talents and some of this. Like I don't know, man. It just almost feels like that.
Loon, bruh.
You don't think so?
Loon, bruh.
You think they want the money?
Loon, bruh. Hey, you hear how many things you got to make? How many scenarios you got to go through?
Right,
bro.
You think it's pure money. Keep the money coming. So you think that the record sales are slowing down in a way where the label is saying, that ain't it. We're not putting that out.
Listen. Bruno Mars don't have these issues.
Drake don't have these issues.
Why didn't you love the label so much? Because if you making money, I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to do to kid. I don't want to stop making money with you. Start you making enough money, then be like, here, we'll give you an indie disc show so you can do your shit as long as we get.
Right. Yeah.
Then and it really skewed my perspective because I got a lot of offers early that the offers came without more insight from the offerer. And for me, I guess I'm so personal in my career that I'm like, no, if Hov want to sign me to his label, Hov will come talk to me about it.
Right.
Like
yes.
that in my mind, I'm like, I remember I was like, Hov gonna be at the meeting? And it was like, no. And it was like,
what we doing?
He want to sign me to his label, right? That was my mind, so I couldn't grasp it happening in that fashion.
Right. And I'm with you on that. That's why a lot of this industry is smoke and mirrors in that way, where it's like, respect me enough to tailor this thing. Respect me enough to consider everything that we've already been through. Me traveling the world by myself, building this thing. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I get into some of these meetings, because I've had meetings with everybody as well, and I'm just like, oh, y'all don't know, we gonna have an issue because y'all don't understand the product. You know what I'm saying? Y'all look at the numbers, but the numbers is that way because I understand the product.
Yeah.
We can those numbers up.
See, but that's the thing, is like we give them too much benefit of the doubt. Not benefit of the doubt, like we what matters to us doesn't matter to them. Right? The bank doesn't care what you use this loan for, as long as you pay them back. But we be wanting them to care about the art as much as us. And it's like, they're not artists.
Right.
They're investors.
Right.
Hearing that really like altered my perspective completely. And it was like, I start going through a bunch of situations I'll see online with artists who like, man, the label did this. And I start just like, you could find rationale in everything when you hear full disclosure. It's just like, man, it's the nature of the beast. That's the kind of business that is. So It's like, if you're going to do any business in that business, just know it come with that type of energy. Like, them there to make money. Some care, but the who cut the checks is there to make money.
Yeah. And they'll get put out if they don't make money. So they do have a parallel.
So it really can't bet on you, because if you know, it's like, if it's going to really take you 5 years, that's my boss looking at me for 5 years like, when this going to start making money?
Right. That's up, but that's how it is. When you the Roc Nation situation, when you asked about Hov, what was the thinking? What was they saying?
She was just like, no, he's not gonna be there. You know, it was like, I guess, like I said, I was thinking too glamorous of it because of how I look at those things, you know. And I don't think it was a malicious act. It's just like, I don't know.
Do you think that they really appreciated what you've done? Like, did the offer look like they appreciated the work you've put in, the money you've made, the sheets you can show?
Yeah, I think at that time the offer was very reflective of whatever value I thought I had then. It wasn't a bad offer. The original offer that came before the actual offer was a bad offer,
right?
And the parameters around it just felt funny to me at the time. You know, it was like, there was no money in the original contract. It was like a $15K discretionary fund. And then it's like, oh yeah, come to the office, we come, and he like, how you feel about the deal? And I'm like, there's no money. And he was like, oh, it's a mistake, right? And he made a call and they sent in a new one. Like, it was immediate and it had money attached to it.
So you telling me that the original deal had $0 and they participated?
A $15K discretionary fund, but
right,
no
but
money.
that's zero. That's nothing, right? In the grand scheme of things. But I'm saying, and they had participation in they had financial participation in the benefits of the music,
right?
With no investment, and they said it was a mistake.
And then after he said it's a mistake, the other one came that had the money, and it just didn't sit right with me to where I could do it, because it felt like, I don't know, that's a lot of money to make a mistake with. And even if it was a mistake, it made me start thinking like, if I would have signed the one with no money, would you have told me it was a mistake?
No.
And once I started feeling like that, it was hard to like, it's really hard to do business after that. And it didn't, you know, like I said, it didn't come with no explanation. Even after like I did the interview with Math and we was talking about it and it went viral, it didn't come with like a call of like, no, bro, this is what, you know, like I just feel like a genuine would give you a call if they was ever trying to sign you to they and how you be a part of what they doing, but it didn't come with a call. Yeah. And I don't think it's ingenuine, but I just feel like need a call.
Right. And you know, we respect Hov, but Hov is held to a standard as well. Like, he can't just do anything either. You know, and
but he can.
He really can't.
Why so?
Because we can lose respect for Hov like we've lost respect for a lot of the greats.
Right.
You know, we can change Hov's perception to the world. Right? If enough people are going through things that are unfavorable and unfair and unwarranted, you know, he's not above He's not above reproach or nothing.
Right. And that's actually exactly how I felt. You know, I was just like, if you're too big in your journey to come holler at someone that you want to sign to your infrastructure and bring into your system, it's not a system I necessarily want to be in, because I want somebody who cares enough to be like, bro, I really with you and I want you to come here, and here's why. But I also get it. It's like, it's a business venture that he has, that he's empowered other people to run. So I understand it. Like, I get
but
the
it's
logic.
running on the back of his legacy.
Right.
When we say Roc Nation, we say Jay-Z.
Right.
You know, and even when you sign the Roc Nation, when you go abroad or you go somewhere, you say, I'm signed to Jay-Z. No, I do business with Jay-Z.
Right. I'm signed to hold.
Yeah, this is your thing. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so
right.
It's like, I think even him, I'm sure he respects that responsibility that comes with that.
But you know, also, it made me think, like, is he trying to go in the route of, like, where it's a Def Jam or an Atlantic? Because if you sign to Def Jam, you don't say, I'm signed to Russell Simmons.
No, but Hove come from us. So it's different. It's
right.
it's like your child or something. You know, Hove come out of this game.
It's family, right?
It's family.
It feel like family.
It's no, you got rich off this, off us,
right.
off this.
Right.
Nigga, I sold that shit you sold. I listen to you. We rap the bars you rapped. We come up under
right.
this, the same umbrella.
But you know, and this is why I got so much grace. I just need a call, because I also, like, though that is all true, we still not really entitled to anything.
Of course not.
Because sometimes, you know, when my fans, I have to remember that me giving anything I gave is enough, because I never had to give anything.
Right.
Right. So that's where, like, I understand the human in the whole ordeal. It's just like, let's have a conversation.
No, but I still think, and that's the honest truth, man. Because don't owe no nigga nothing.
Right.
So that's more. That's,
right.
Like, that's the truth, man. But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, right. We talking about. It's a lot of young men coming out the darkness.
It's like, I'm a young black independent nigga building infrastructure out of Vallejo. You know, I think that there's a due diligence for OGs, you know, in every lane, to just be pat to the niggas who like my whole team is like, I seen Splash and it's like, no, this nigga's one of them. You got that due diligence, you know, to bro, that's culture.
Exactly. And I know Hove is tapped in, because I've seen Hove with the Tax Stones of the world. It's like that don't get on your radar unless you tapped into the streets and our culture for real. Right. So you can't, on one end, see what happens is,
right.
That's what be the problem, right? It's like, yo, bro, we got to make sure that we consistent in our messaging and our approach, especially when we at the highest level, you held to the highest regard. So I couldn't sign with Roc Nation without meeting Hove.
So see, that's how I felt. That's exactly what it was. It just didn't. Yeah. Like I feel like I shouldn't have even got a deal without meeting her. Like I shouldn't have even got an offer without meeting her. Like it was just so. Yeah, I don't know.
When you started on this journey, who inspired it?
Man, the culture. I've always I've just been immersed in culture my entire life. Like after we done, I'm gonna show you, we got a culture wall in there, and it's just like movies from my past that I grew up right. I was just immersed in culture. And when you get to a point in your life where you realize there's people behind those things, like somebody had to sit and make those, and they had cameras and they had a crew, and you realize like these are human acts. Nigga, I'm on everything.
I'm on a piece of
I'm on I could get some too.
Yes.
If you could do it, that mean I could do that exact same thing,
yes.
And I could get some too. I don't want it no other way.
Man, I love it. And Let me ask you this too. What is your feeling about record labels? Like, what do you feel about the music business and or record labels?
I've had a period of my life where I was against a period where I was neutral, and I think now I'm in a period where I'm for, if it's aligning to where we could, like, if a nigga like me that make the kind of music I make and has the mind I have and making the impact I'm making independently can find a partner that has all the resource and infrastructure, that wants to do great business, have a great deal, and make a lot of money together, and allow me to do everything I'm already doing, just bigger, I think that is the greatest thing that can happen to culture. The right parties get together and it's like, this should be at the top. This should be propelled.
Right.
Because it's like we have those discussions and debates and propel shit that ain't even positive. Like,
right.
It only has a negative footprint to it. And we like, let's rally together and put this, we're going to make sure everybody sees this. So if we do that with a nigga that you feel like, nigga, I'll fly to the Bay to go function with, I fuck. If we feel like that, it's only a win. It's one of the biggest wins.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we're gonna get to that too, because I do like that. You know, I had a conversation with D1, a kind of rough conversation, because D1, in my opinion, his brand seems a bit more, and I got a lot of love for D1. When I speak about D1, I don't want people, because some weird way they got it where when you critique D1, you critiquing God. like you going against Jesus Christ or something. Not him in himself, but like because he stand for the word of God, that be careful when you critique him. But I'm a righteous man, right? So I think those tough conversations I'm comfortable having. But I think his brain is a bit more disconnected, right? It's positive, but it seems like it's a little more disconnected. Yours is positive, but it's still lost.
Yeah.
And I think that I want to take a little time and applaud that. Like, that's a beautiful thing, to not glorify the killing of the culture, but be killing the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to big you up for that, bro. Like,
Man,
in a real way.
I appreciate that. That shit mattered to me. Like, cause I know how easy conscious can become corny and become unreceived.
Yes.
Right? Cause it's like, once people associate it, where it's like man, sometimes if you told me Jesus walked on water, it made me feel like, well, I can never be Jesus. Because and niggas don't walk on water. Right. But if you told me he sat and meditated and took care of his people and then, you know, like, but it's like that quick depiction sometimes, like, if you come off too righteous, and it's never a you thing, it's just the people receiving it. Like, you can never be too righteous. I can only receive you as too righteous. Right? So depending on where the people at, a lot of niggas will just write it off, but I'm still, it took me a long time to find a median between preachy and just human.
Right. Because my thing was with D1, I was telling him, yo, you're critiquing rappers, bro. And so when you critique rappers, if you have a solution, give the solution to the world. That's what all the great creatives are doing. I'm not telling no particular person to come holler at me. I'm going to give my game to the culture. It'll show up on your desk. It's going to show up on your desk, dog.
Yeah.
Because I'm giving the solutions to the world. I respect the universe enough to believe that this will penetrate and hit the people it need to hit.
You know, I think sometimes, I remember I was writing the Fuck the Industry freestyle. It was originally called Fuck Double XL freestyle, right? And T was like, why so narrow? And I was like, you're right.
Right.
Fuck the industry.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes I feel like his critique in Rick Ross and Meek Mill, it was still relevant. It was just narrow. You know,
Right.
it's like we could it's a lot bigger. But he narrowed in for that moment. But it was still relative. Like he has a valid point. Like when you grown men and you telling niggas to kill niggas and slide still and perpetuate that, you do have a due diligence. It's like, yeah, you can't. I was at Sadhguru camp and he was like, you know, everybody look at freedom as like the ability to do what you can. And he's like, just because you can say something doesn't always mean you should say it.
Right.
Or can't do it. You know, like he was just asking niggas to be more conscious and valuable of their output. And I don't think that's out of reason, but it's also not. Niggas don't have to.
Yeah,
you know.
But here's the thing, right? My thing was it was always good until you said I want to meet with y'all to have dinner. That's my part. See,
you think it's like a nigga trying to get in the circle?
Come on. What I need dinner with some niggas rapping about killing and I'm righteous. I'm the Christian man. I'm gonna tell y'all how to fix that. I don't need to come here because the solution is for the kids.
You know though, I don't know. I think that's valid because I think like he's saying I want to open the door for conversation so I can explain to you why I feel this way because you're my favorite.
The world. No. Explain to
you
the world.
You could have just said it. You already said it to the
solution to the world.
Okay.
If I'm Meek Mill, like if I tell you,
but niggas receive it differently through the internet than through conversation like this. Like we able to holler differently right here than anything I could put on the internet. Even if something happened and I went on the internet and I'm like, Loon, nigga, you was at my house. It would never be the conversation that we can have like this.
Yes, but this is an overarching point that you're making. Again, why so narrow? So my thing was there's no need for you to meet with Meek Mill and Jim Jones. My thing is this. If I say, yo, I heard they stealing Kia Sophia's. I don't need a line of niggas that own Kia Sophia's outside my house. I need to get on my platform and say, the way you stop them from stealing your Kia Sophia.
Oh,
right?
I hear you.
I need to put the solution out to the world. Hey, this is how you stop them from stealing your Kia Sophia.
Oh God, this nigga good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the self-serving aspect that makes it come off as, oh no, get in the circle.
Yeah.
Have dinner for what? Get a solution to the world. It's more than just them three doing it. It's a culture of it. At that time, a couple of those guys didn't even have music out. Then Joe Budden come on the list. And it's like, yo, I can't wait. He told me, I can't wait to meet Joe Budden and hug Joe Budden. And I'm saying, for what? I ain't saying that you're wrong for being righteous. I'm saying that
sometimes that is the feeling though behind I can't wait to meet Hov and hug him.
That's different, bro. Hov done poured into this culture in a different way than Joe Budden. D1 ain't got no right. What you pulling from Joe Budden that I ain't respectfully, like I'm saying that a rapper, a Christian rapper though, a Christian rapper that's saying Meek Mill, Jim Jones, Rick Ross, y'all need not be.
But you know though, he's not a Christian rapper. He's a human.
That's right. And I know, you're right. And
that is the base of that interaction. When you put roles and titles over it, and these the rappers and it's a rapper, it kind of
no.
He got
No, because what happened was he the one inserted the fact that, yo, I'm feeding the kids and doing this for the kids, and y'all are destroying the neighborhood. So he brought them dudes wasn't talking about, bro. And I'm saying, if the industry has the problem, if you have mice in your house, you did.
What I think also maybe we're going too narrow. Maybe it wasn't even like it was only Rick Ross and Meek Mill because they had just dropped and they was on a promo run at the time, right? If it was somebody else on the promo run at the time, it probably would have ended up being them. Maybe it wasn't as narrow as them, but as narrow as the moment, and we're just making it them, you know.
Still, the solution is the same.
Right.
If
right.
your point is that, the kids are listening. The kids are listening. We talking about Meek Mill and Rick Ross that sold, and let's put real numbers out there, 66K the first week. Mm-hmm. Man, we got people selling 200,000-300,000 of that kind of lineage, of that kind of climate that's dancing in that rain. Right. That again, putting that solution out, they still in Kia Sophia's. This is how you stop it, right? So I'm telling y'all that this is affecting the kids, and I think y'all need to alter that. I think there's a way to do that, and I'm saying that it was okay until you said, in my opinion, I want to have dinner. Right? What changed your mind about record labels? What was that switch?
It's been gradual. The bigger I've been getting, the better meetings and conversations I get to have because my leverage is higher versus early on. So now it's like I get to sit with a Tunji or get to sit with a Dallas or get to sit with this guy who's EVP here, and this is, and the conversation is different at that level. And it's just been gradual. Because I've been getting to talk to these niggas and as humans.
Right.
You know, like it's not just business. Sometimes it's just like a human build. Like Noah from Def Jam is like a dope human, like nigga beyond the bid, like whether the business work or not, he a dope human. Right. So when you meet the humans behind it and they explain it with their perspective, and it's not just an outside perspective because you knocking on a window and you think you know what's going on, it just it alters it a lot. And when I started realizing that the only thing that can happen to me is what I allowed to happen to me.
As far as business.
Exactly.
So what changed with the conversations though? Like, is it points? What does a good deal look like to you? Is it splits? Is it points? Is it is it freedom?
What changed with the conversation was me asking more questions about everything I used to wonder about that I thought was a thing. With the niggas, like, why y'all slowing niggas down? I asked that question.
Okay.
All the questions that niggas be like, what about the streaming? Why? How that shit be popped? What be happening when I asked all the questions? And the answers I got was just like, as simple as you would think it is. And when you got somebody that just tell you truthfully what they experiencing, like a nigga who worked there telling you and a nigga who got the offer who you never seen with the label and shit telling you is two different things.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
There's different information bases.
Yes. And that's why it's always, and that's why we have a responsibility to overcommunicate, bro, because we are in those rooms where we don't know the next time somebody will be independent with the infrastructure you got that's able to have those kind of meetings. We don't know, especially from this area.
Right.
Like, you don't know.
And niggas never bring it back.
That's what I'm saying.
I be bringing it back. I'm like, oh no. They said, like, I'm one of the few niggas who you've gotten to see through documentation perspective change and share why it's changing and share, no, this is real, this isn't. You feel me? Like, niggas don't share the information.
Right. Is it because they ain't got it? Are we watching them hang? We might be watching them hang, bro.
We clapping while they hang.
You know what I'm saying? Because these dudes, again, the black culture has a very high interest in, like, perception. You can do a lot if people just perceive you as winning. I think a lot of these guys don't even know what they're making or spending a year. As long as they can look the same to the audience, they don't care if they 5 albums in debt, 60 million in debt with the label. As long as I can still take the private, have the Rolls Royce, take the pictures, doing this, that, and the third, I'm willing to sacrifice the actual reality for the perception.
Right? And you can't knock a nigga for that.
You can't?
You really can't.
Damn.
Because if a nigga want to know and don't know, that's one thing. But if a nigga don't want to know and don't want to know,
right,
I can't have no problem with that.
Facts.
He don't want to know.
Right.
You trying to tell a nigga who don't want to know.
Right.
That's like trying to teach a nigga math who like, nigga, I'm telling you. I'm looking at you and telling you, nigga, I don't give a fuck about that.
Right.
And you like, but nigga, you need to know this. And it's like, that never works. That never works.
What drives that, though? Maybe is it because I have a hard time believing they don't want to know. I think it's they
the
don't want to wait.
reason why they don't want to know is different. Right? That is a factor.
Yeah.
But it doesn't override the fact that they don't want to know. Until you could teach them and then they get themselves to a point where they want to know.
But our whole culture saw TLC. Our whole culture saw.
But we didn't.
Damn.
But we didn't. Niggas found out, you know, it was like, even when niggas found out, like when they did their announcement, like this is what's happening, the niggas who get it announced to is like, we don't know or understand none of it.
Right.
Like half the time we be discussing deals and terms, and we like until I got into it, I was like, damn, my perspective was so skewed because I ain't know shit.
Right. But still had a mean perspective. Because you're still dealing with a thinking man.
Perspective.
Yeah. And then put something together.
Nigga, you standing on clouds.
Yeah. Standing on clouds.
When your perspective and your opinion ain't based off experience, like true knowledge, nigga, I was there and I touched it and I seen it. You standing on the cloud, nigga.
Right.
That house ain't built on nothing.
Right.
That house ain't built nothing but opinion.
And knowing is participation. I tell people knowing is participation. There ain't no way, like people be saying, I know what I'm talking about. Knowing is participation. And if you ain't participated, you got to stay away from that word.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's for everybody. That nobody's excluded
You
from
didn't
that.
play.
Yeah.
You didn't play. Like a nigga's perspective on what happens in the league and why players do what they do who didn't play is like, nigga, you could tell that at 24-hour fitness.
Right.
You don't need to go educate the world where you feel me. It's like, bro,
it's off. And that's why in media it gets confusing, right? Because some guys are black people, but they're not cultured people. So you'll have a black person speaking on a LaRussell coming out the Bay or a rapper, and they not understand what they've been through, what they're talking about, what they even looking at.
But sharing that opinion as it's a fact.
Right, and because they share the skin color, don't nobody look into the background of it. Like, yo, did you play kickball? Did you grow up, like, did y'all, like, play hide and seek in the neighborhood? And like,
are you a real person?
Yeah, you one of us
with
for
real experience.
Right, yeah. Or respectfully, did you, because if that's the case, not saying you don't have a place in the culture, but let it be known that you're speaking from that perspective because it's blurring the lines. And people are not understanding.
Right. You have to say that you're telling the story from the outside of the house.
Yes.
You got to be like, this what was going on from the front door.
Right.
It was closed.
Yes.
But this what I heard from the front door. You got to say, this what I heard from the front door. You feel me? And that's what niggas is leaving out.
Right.
Which is why the information come back the way it does. And you'll have niggas like, I hate labels. I don't ever want to sign. Like, nigga, I was so independent to sometimes I feel like to a fault, because if I was more open-minded to it and I didn't have the perspective of fuck these labels, hate these labels, I could have did a great situation like I've been able to do a Live Nation and shit. You know, like I would have been able to accomplish that earlier. But the knowledge base, like, you feel me, you don't know until you know, and you don't really know until you go touch it, feel it, see it, smell it, and when you do that, you understand that all possibilities exist. These niggas is trash, some of them, and they cheat and they lie, and the niggas be stealing money and laundering. That exists, like, in the world. And then there's some of these niggas here who like, nigga, I love this shit.
Exactly.
This all I do. I like to put out here. I like to make money off this shit because this is what we make the best, right? And that exists too, just like in the world.
Right.
It don't change when they get into a building. A label is literally just a building with the world in it. Like, you put the world in one building and then you build a building over it, and all the niggas that was in that little group right there is at the label. You got all different kind of niggas up in this motherfucker, sure. You know?
But now there is a power structure at a label too. It's good to have people in position that's decision makers that understand culture. Because even a lot of times they have people in position who, oh yeah, nah, you work for Atlantic, you understand culture, but you ain't got no power, you powerless. You know what I mean? Like your vote don't even really count in the building. When I'm talking about for real
No,
in the
right.
grand scheme.
And them be the best niggas.
Yeah, them be some good niggas.
Them be good niggas.
Them be some good niggas.
Them be the good niggas. Them be like, man, if you ran this place, I'd be here.
Man.
You feel me? Like, yes.
And he's just like, I know, man. I know. I'd have gave it to you. Them folks is they don't know, man.
Right,
It's
right.
like, and he gotta go to work
that's
for
the
him.
problem. They're not empowering the niggas who are those niggas. Even, you know what's crazy? I met a few niggas who like, people be like, oh no, he one of them. He a good. And then you meet him and it's like, it makes me, I gotta question your perception of what one of them niggas is now, because it's like, nah, he not. He the same.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this game, man. I think, so like when we talk about Roc Nation, all of these guys that come from rap, they have a supreme understanding of branding. So they know what you can get done just off character, just off, just off a Jay-Z character. Or a Diddy character, these kind of guys that did so much in this game, Birdman, or just some of these names carry so much weight that you can sign to them, never meet them, and run around saying their name. And you will feel like something. And I'm saying, how can you do? That's craziness to me.
Oh God,
right to me though, to give you my baby.
Because of how we run our lives. You feel me? Because I feel the same. Like no matter how big it is. If I'm bringing you into the system, I gotta meet you.
Yes.
Because it's my system.
Yes.
And you might fuck my shit up because I didn't meet you. You feel me? But unless you... I don't know, right? Because how we perceive it isn't the way that it's being perceived massively, right? And there's no right or wrong. Like everybody is to each is his own.
Do you think is that the rappers don't want the information, or is it that they don't want to wait on the cake to bake? Right? It's because sometimes I think they're impatient because they want to hurry up and shine.
I think it's both. I don't think they don't not want the information. I think they just don't consider it. Like they just don't care. Like it's like. That's just not even a thing that's crossing their mind. You know, especially niggas like, you on drugs and you sit there and you move, like, there's a lot of things you don't consider in them state. Like, when I smoke too much weed, it's shit I stop considering that I should consider. So imagine if it's beyond that and you fucking around with bitches and like your mind is already distracted enough with everything, and your paper coming here. It's easy. It's easy to like, nigga, you ain't even ask no questions, nigga. Like I got a whole life I'm tending to. So in that state, you're not even really thinking about all that shit.
Cause I think about like some of these guys that get in the label system. It's like they leave with nothing, and the label squeeze all the money they can.
I don't think that's ever true. I don't think that's ever true.
Explain.
I ain't see a nigga leave a label with nothing.
When I say nothing, it's relative though, right?
Because listen, niggas who go to labels don't make no hit, but the label still somehow figure out a way to make sure we know they exist. Even when they leave with that. LaRussell, like I'm in the V and I put up a thing that say, make me an offer, I'm here, I'll come, whatever, put your shit in. Any one of them niggas could do that and there's money rolling in. The only way you leave with, you can't leave with nothing if a nigga gave you all the notoriety of like a name where people want to hire you and book you. See, I can't give you the amount of money that's going to amount to that.
That to me is the smoke screen. When I say leave with nothing, see, I'm watching Kanye, and I'm watching how he's moving around. I remember a long time ago when Kanye was beefing with Adidas, I heard him say something. He said, man, not only Kanye, there's a guy in the conservative market of doing what I do named Steven Crowder. Large guy worth 200-300 million with this microphone. You know what I'm saying? You may not never know him, but he live in that conservative market, say some wild stuff. Intellectual people, but they just wild folks. But I heard Kanye tell Adidas, hey, yo, I'm moving around with 3 million emails. And that's what I mean. I mean, when I say leave with something, I'm saying information, analytics. That brand shit, that brand shit is powerful when
But
you got the
listen.
information to back it. The brand ain't worth nothing without the information. It's the car without the motor. It's literally worth nothing. Like being famous, like you got people that's doing interviews for $500 that's famous.
Listen. If all this got took from me and all I had was me, I'd get it all back.
You got the information though. You ain't just got the brand. See what happens
Bro,
is the label brought you out with just the brand.
Where we at today, a nigga could get dropped at a label today and go on YouTube and find all the information and start back flooding, and he back.
Yeah.
Come new, like you. When you sign yourself up for something, that's like, damn, you got to take your accountability, running over your case, and come new. Go start building new. Because
Yes.
the longer you relic over that, it's like, bro, you wasting. You could have been came new, and niggas would have been back on that shit. You would have wiped that out. You feel me? But bro, them niggas never leave you disabled, which is the crazy thing. Like where I made it to now on my journey, it's like when you coming out, it's niggas who. We ain't heard from them, and yet Chingy still getting booked.
That's label doing.
Chingy still, them niggas ain't backing him no more. We ain't heard nothing from, that's his name.
He was in that system. Yeah, that's true.
Nigga, he's still getting booked.
He true.
And
That's that
he
brand.
been off since back then.
That
so you
is
mean,
true.
like, you feel me? Like,
That's a good case
when
study,
you
too.
give a nigga that, like, that's literally, you either give a nigga a fish or you give him a fishing pole in the information that had a fish. But even if you don't give him the information that had a fish, but you gave him the fishing pole, a nigga gonna figure out how to catch a fucking fish if he want a fish. And they never leave you without a fishing pole. You mean your name is, you the nigga who,
They keep you next to that. Yeah.
more niggas
Shit
know
still
you
in
than me.
movies, but see, you sign over that song. So again, like you said,
Come
he doesn't own that
new.
song, but he own the brand. He
Come-
own himself.
Fuck that song. Go make 100 more.
Right.
The fuck you niggas fighting over once? You fighting over? Go make more bread.
Right.
They gave you all this shit to make your bread. Go make more bread. Like you can't. It's this I forgot what book it was in, but one of the laws was like stay out of court. Like you don't want to get caught in that whole dealing and situation back
and forth.
Bro, that
yeah.
shit slowing you could have already been back on top where you want to be, but some niggas it's like you know you needed them niggas.
Right.
So now you got to make it like
Yes.
it's their fault it ain't happening.
Right.
Cause you needed them niggas. Nigga, you could go do that. You know, sometimes them giving you your freedom is the best thing. They don't cut niggas who make them money.
Wow. That's a fact.
You don't cut the nigga
That's
who
as simple
you don't
as a
cut
nigga can
niggas
put
who
it.
putting up points. Like
Right.
nigga, you don't see a nigga scoring and getting to it,
But
and they
there
like
is
they
a
cut
place.
him.
There is a place where y'all cannot reach terms with someone that's making money, because now I see the power in the money I'm making, and so now I'm not go. You won't give me a favorable deal, so we don't. Do you think that
I don't
leverage
know- I
always
don't
get
know
you
if-
the terms you
I
want
don't
to
know
sign?
if that's still true, because when you bringing it in, they give you deals that make the culture be like, how the fuck you get
Yeah, they'll
that?
tell you to
Nigga,
make
you
the
know how
deal.
he got that.
Yeah.
You think that them type of deals exist, but niggas ain't getting them if they bringing it in.
Yeah, they'll tailor make the deal if it gets to a
Nigga,
certain level, like a Drake deal.
You only have those issues when it's like you may not even be performing at the level that's like, bro, what can we do with it? Like, I've literally seen some of these label rosters, and I'm like, why the fuck did y'all do? Why'd
Right.
y'all even? What made y'all take this?
yeah.
You feel me? Like, there's a certain amount of work you supposed to have to do just to even get into the league, but it's not the same with music. But it's like them the only niggas that's coming out, and it's like, man, I couldn't get back. This nigga Nas, boom. Like, you
Right.
feel me? The
Right.
niggas who they gonna put that shit out and get back to it.
Right. And you know something else I think that happens, and I want to get your perspective on it, is like when you go into that system and the label puts those marketing dollars in place and you become bigger than life, I think some of those guys tend to hide from their shadow too, where it's like, I don't want to come out with the real numbers because y'all used to seeing me do 150. So now when I know I got to come out and I know it ain't going to do 150, you know what I'm saying? They so caught up in that versus Like
That's self-sabotage.
Yeah, because one
That's
time Ross said I
self-sabotage.
sell 1,000,000 10 times instead of going diamond like 50. So he had already switched his perspective to know I ain't gonna go diamond, but I can do 1,000,000 10 times, which is equivalent as diamond. And I think
You
some
heard?
of those guys get caught up in that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right. And it take that perspective. Like everything, every excuse, obstacle, and reason you didn't make it is going to exist.
Yeah,
It's like T say like if any little inconvenience can turn you around, then you didn't want it that bad.
right,
And those is on always exist, nigga. It's always gonna be something in the road.
right.
It's always gonna be something in the road, and you
Right.
can use that as a reason you stop driving or a reason you got bigger tires.
Right. That's deep. That's dope.
Huh?
That's dope. Tell me your feelings on the streaming. What's your feelings on streaming?
I think it is a systemic tool, and it's also an independent tool. I think streaming is free game for everyone. Like, if you could build your catalog enough to where people are streaming it, and that brings you in your paper, you won the game. You may never need to sign unless you want to be a star. You know, like, that's the only difference. It's like independence. I think you can still be a star because I feel like I'm getting to that point. But for so long, like, you know, you could go straight into the majors and be a star,
Right.
even without an album.
Right.
Like, independently, you can't be a star without no album.
Right.
You go major, you could not have album and you could be a star. Like, niggas could start building you and working you to a point where niggas like, you could be a star
Right.
without any of the shit you used to have to be.
But for your music, all the work you put in, you know, all the time you put in, you had no say so in what you are being paid for a stream.
Yeah.
They just set a price due to market value after setting the price with the labels.
I'm not mad at it because I used to make $0 at first.
But once that's set, that I don't think that's a good reason to say.
So listen, they pay me a fraction of a cent, right? And listen, because I used to be like, fuck these niggas. I did the same shit. And now I'm like, bro, no.
I think these
Listen.
are healthy conversations.
If I built a platform, right, and this platform generates this much money a month through music, and people pay me $10 every single month. They pay me $10 because I built this infrastructure for them to consume the music that they stream from you. When they stream the music, I pay you, right? So if they pay me $10 and this month I made $1 billion off my infrastructure and off your music, and they only played your song 100 times out of all that money that was made from all these different artists, what percentage of that should you get?
Whatever it adds up to.
It'll be a fraction of a fucking cent. If I made $10 billion and the
Right,
amount
yeah,
that your
nah, that's
shit
very
generated
low. Yeah,
only
yeah,
contributed this much,
Yeah.
what percentage would that be?
Right.
It's like, nigga, when you do the math.
But there's
it's like,
a number though. See, here's the thing, right? Because Universal and them went into that room with a number that spoke to market share. Mm-hmm. To say, yo, we got Drake, we got this, we got all these different catalogs, and yeah, you're making money, but it's like if you're selling Kool-Aid, but I got the sugar. You know what I'm saying? They coming to you for Kool-Aid, but not bitter Kool-Aid. They ain't just coming to you for any old song. You get the audience there by having these certain artists there.
But I
now,
feel like...
But hold on. This speaks to how I know this is because when Apple and all of them first started, they were giving them exclusive deals to try to build that audience over there. And Spotify was like, yo, just come out here for 2 days and then go everywhere. But they was trying to pillage the audience. So what do you say to because it has to be a number. It has to be a number that represents
Listen, streaming is so fair.
Streaming is fair?
Listen to me. This is the only job in the world where you can make the same amount as Drake. His stream and your stream worth the same amount of money.
Only you think that.
No. His stream and your stream is worth the same amount of money.
No, they've got good with the propaganda.
See, right.
Drake gets more. I think Drake deal for streaming services are different from an overarching perspective. I think it's
listen,
represented on universal
Let me
side.
finish because you
go ahead.
Listen,
go ahead. Let's talk.
Let's take Drake out.
Okay.
You make the same amount as money. If you made a song today and uploaded it to TuneCore, DistroKid, you would make the same amount per stream that Chance the Rapper makes.
Yes.
How does that work? You don't go to no fucking job and make the same amount as the nigga who already did it and accomplished it. But here it's like everybody getting the same amount.
Yeah, because
the
everybody
only reason you
getting
get more is if you do more. You feel me? So it's like,
well, it's because everybody getting fucked. It ain't because this is no hell of a thing or that is fair. See,
no one can explain how. And I used to be on the same side until I started building infrastructure and building things that's of use to people and utilization, and like, what am I supposed to get for building all this? And then after I get that and I give you yours, what is your percentage supposed to be? Like, how much are we supposed to be paid?
You're underplaying yourself because you built it on your back. Apple built it on our back. It's different. You built it on your back. Apple, Spotify built it on hip hop's back. They were giving exclusive deals only to hip hop.
Yep.
Saying, hey, we need the audience here, bro.
But how much am I supposed to pay you for that?
I think that it should be more than a fraction of a cent. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, I can't give you a number because I know that it gets wicked.
Right.
When you get into even the terms and deals of contracts, when you get into the .10, oh man, this done got slippery. I like whole numbers in one sheet.
But you know what's crazy is like, that's how deep the math get when the math gets that big. Like, to us, the math don't get that deep because our math don't get that big.
But I look at Kanye.
But when it's billions and trillions, the math it goes all the way down to.
But Kanye say they do that to trick you. Kanye say, yo, I'm in here with Adidas. They're doing this to trick you. All this don't got to be all these numbers and fudging of all of this is a game. So I'm saying I can only trust the people that, like we said, has participated. I'm watching and listening and reading the books and grabbing information.
And that's the thing. None of us have full insight, so we're just highly opinionated.
Right.
And until we get a nigga who's in there, a Daniel Ek from Spotify, and a nigga like me and you, and this from Apple, and we like have this type of conversation,
we lost. But again, I want to practice what I preach in the same way I said with D1. I want to just give it to the world, and hopefully it penetrates somewhere. They had they call us in. Yo, man, that conversation was so deep.
See, but sometimes it's like with D1, when you go straight to the world. Sometimes a nigga take that as like, bro, I don't even want to talk to you. And that's how Ross and them they start calling them Buckethead and shit. You feel me?
He called them personally. We're talking about an infrastructure in which we participate in at a high level.
Right.
And we got children we're leaving this game to.
Yeah.
We got young black men we're leaving this game to.
And I really think, I don't even think they're closed off to the conversation. I think the conversation just hasn't came in. Remember we was talking earlier how that shit, how it gets to a nigga determines if a nigga want to do it or not. So it's like, I don't think it's out of scope or out of reach. I think it's in the very near future. It's just like, you need certain people to have that conversation, and you need someone. I was watching Clarence Avant doc, and he said they was in this big ass meeting with all the labels and shit, and they said, who is Clarence representing? And they was like, Clarence is here for everybody. He's representing everyone because he's the nigga who's like, bro, I'm not for this. I'm not against this. I don't feel like you fucking me. I don't feel like I'm fucking you. I'm asking from a point of neutrality. And until we can get there, it's just not going to be a conversation that can be made because they not going to sit there with a nigga yelling, talking about, nigga, but they ain't going to do it. You feel me? They want to have a real conversation.
Yeah, like we're having, though.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to, and like we spoke on earlier, there's only a few people in the space period that can even have these kind of. And
I was just about to say, I was going to ask you, and what rapper do you think, who would you nominate to be able to have that conversation publicly where we could all get a grander understanding of that?
You, someone from Spotify, someone from Apple, another rapper. Let's think.
You feel me?
I got some execs maybe, but I don't. I mean, who. Y'all got anybody, any rappers y'all think? I don't know.
For it to have the impact it needs to have, it's like it has to be somebody directly impacted who feel how we feel.
Right.
If a nigga just like, nigga, I'm happy. I was making zero, now I make billions, bro.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. Like I say, some niggas don't care, and you can't knock them for not caring.
Right. Now, here's my thing, right? I also look at the end of the year wrap up. They don't post what it makes the label. They post for the artist to post. The label, see, something's happening, man. There's something going on with these numbers. And I guarantee you that, especially for the 1%ers, like the Drakes, the Kanyes, they can like really see their audience in a way where it's like, even you, somebody that can see the impact of their audience, like
right.
put a post up, yo, shoot me an offer and clear another 30 grand in the city or something. You know what I'm saying? Those guys have a responsibility to dig a little bit. You know, just to dig around.
But that's our entitlement.
How? When we
Because
participating.
you can't place responsibility on another man.
What responsibility?
Like you just, like you said, they have a responsibility to do whatever we expect of them. Because I be on both ends. I be like, nigga, you have to, but they don't, bruh. And I'm talking about. So you don't think that for the sake of preserving our culture, that the people should feel like, yo, I'm in the top of this game, I need to seek some. You think we feel entitled for asking for that? We are entitled for asking for it, and
so no
you have
responsibility.
to. You really, man. The only way to combat it is to build a culture that you don't have to question that about. You know, because it's like we've empowered questionable people who have questionable actions, and we like, why ain't you doing nothing? It's like, is this the nigga you expecting to do it? This one. This is the guy. We not, bro. Them niggas ain't them niggas.
Right.
Them niggas ain't them niggas.
So you just
looking
done
at a
lost
black
faith in
nigga
it.
and you like, why you not speaking Spanish?
Right.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
Them niggas ain't them niggas.
Yeah.
It takes certain kind of niggas to have them conversations and to do them things. That's them revolutionary actions.
1 million plays, $3,500. That's deep.
Right? But would you rather have 1 million plays and $0?
That should be impossible. How is that possible? There's no way to have 1 million plays. See, this is what's concerning.
They created a line of revenue before niggas would pirate the music and I just play it on my computer. The same way Spotify is, right? I just pirate it, download, play it on my... You never got paid.
That's a good point.
Now they made a way for you to get paid when it was already happening. It was already happening, but now we get paid a stream of revenue that never existed. Like, I think the parameters could always grow, but let's be grateful for that.
Right, yeah. And I'm with
We
you
can
on that.
always tweak it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we see what this
I'm
is.
with you on
Let's
that.
do this better because we see what this is. I didn't know what it was at first because we didn't understand it. Now we get it. Can we tweak it a bit? But we got to start with being grateful first because that money didn't exist.
But see, I'm a data man, and I'm moving data, right? I'm really a tech company masked as a podcast, right? So I'm looking at data, and I'm knowing what I'm getting for my data. I just told you my audio numbers. I'm telling you certain numbers, so I'm saying, hold on, man. Like, 1 million plays give me $3,500. It's like, I ain't saying there's 1 million people on the platform you get $3,500. I'm saying that on your platform 1 million people hit this thing, my thing.
See, but it's a variable. Like that number, everyone tosses this. 1 million plays is 35 million plays, 4,000 million. If you go on any DSP in your streaming account, you'll see different amounts for 1 million plays because it has to do with territory, it has to do with platform, it has to do with a premium stream, a non. It's so many factors. Sometimes 1 million plays is way more than 3,500, and any nigga who really do it know that. I'm a nigga who got 1 million plays. I know what. So it's like, bro, it's not 35. Sometimes it can be 3,500. It depends on the quality of your million. What is it looking like? Are you streaming international? Are you streaming? All of that plays into a factor, and the data is there. You can download a CSV of every stream and where it's coming from and what the rate is.
Yes.
Like, it exists. That thing is not. And like I said, I'm not taking from it. I always think I deserve more money. But like I say, this shit didn't exist. Them niggas giving us revenue that if they took streaming away, niggas would be madder.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying. I have a hard time with that because, again, the numbers is so skewed for me. But I'm grateful.
But we don't
for
know the numbers.
But see, me, I ain't even dancing in that because my million plays is a lot of money. You see what I'm saying?
And imagine if where you get your million plays was removed.
I would be pissed.
And you hear what you're saying right now? Your million right now is a lot of money. So you might not even be thinking about how much it actually is. You feel me? And that's how it started with Spotify. It's like, nigga, we getting this. Nigga, then start thinking that. Like, your million might be more than you getting, but you content enough with
more. Yeah, for them. I know the business. They got to get something from it, so I get that part.
They got to get something from it.
But I also know that a fish see the bait, not the hook. You know what I'm saying? So I know that a person don't know what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even see what's... My thing is, I'm knowing that I'm uploading hours, though. That's why my million plays look different. A rap song is 3-4 minutes. I upload 2 hours at a time. So that million, that retention does something totally different to the play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's a totally different thing. But it's just concerning that the 3,500 and the million just seems skewed, but grateful, of course. But
right, but I don't know if it's skewed because I don't know what the number should be. So it's like, for me, it's like, if you don't
know what 1 million people clicking something is worth more than 3,500, I can guarantee you that.
How do you know that? Do you tell YouTube what your viewers worth?
No.
Right. They determine that because they have a metric that you don't have to determine that. It's like we don't know what the fuck is supposed to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting from them. You feel me? Like, I truly don't. And that was my thing with my argument. I was standing on clouds. Because if you get in that office and they like, well, what do you want? Well, I don't know. It's like, we don't even know what we're supposed to be getting, but they're giving us something. So my thing is like, we start with gratitude and we get to grow that conversation because I really don't know what the fuck we supposed to be getting for a stream. I don't know what that shit is worth. If you make $10 billion and this nigga only contributed three, nigga, they only streamed your shit 3 times.
Right.
Out of this 10 billion, what percent I'm supposed to get at, nigga?
Right.
That number would be so fucking long.
They gotta, yeah. And see, so that's where that's the bait and the hook thing, because that's the argument they're gonna use on the people that don't got no. Some people would even argue that Spotify or someone uploaded a bunch of audio to Spotify to skew those numbers. They said there's some certain amount of millions of songs on Spotify under 2 plays or something like that.
Under like 1,000.
Yeah, some shit like that. Under 1,000.
Yeah.
So there has to be a metric that under the market share value, y'all get this much. But there's a different conversation for somebody moving 20,000 people there on a Tuesday, 50,000 people there on a Wednesday.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And again, I think there's some respect due. There's some tailor-made suits.
And you know
need to
what's
be
crazy?
made.
There are different conversations for those people.
That's what I was telling you about Drake.
When you start, if you do DistroKid, TuneCore, some of the like more starter distro, I don't want to call them starter because they got foot in the game,
Right.
but they're starter in terms of like industry. The royalty rate is lower because you're in a starter sector. Then you can move up to certain distros like Avidia, Command Shift, Audio Salad. The rate is a bit higher. Like there with Merlin, their rate is a bit different.
Okay.
The royalty gets higher.
That's good game.
And then if you go into the Universal, the system who do actual business with them, the rate is higher. So that does happen. As you grow, you're able to scale up in forms. But like I say, we still know no finite number. We don't, like
what can you do with a million people though? You know what you do with.
Listen, 1 million streams don't mean you got 1 million people.
Right. Let's give it 10%.
And I'm playing a playlist, and your shit just come on a playlist, and I'm jumping rope. I ain't changing. I'm just listening. You ain't got me as no fan, nigga. You ain't win me over. That's a passive listen.
Right. That's
that
a totally
adds
different
to
thing.
It though.
Right.
If I came here to listen to Drake and they play your shit
Up
next.
next.
and I'm just nigga, you don't have a fan. You gotta listen.
Right.
And we like those are 2 different things.
Totally. And so that's the thing I'm saying though. But we also are playing a numbers game. So what if we go 10%? So if we say there's 1 million plays, can we get 100,000? Can we get 80,000?
It's one. I literally
10,000.
I literally built the metric. When I was early on, I was trying to tour with the homies, and I was trying to base it off streamings. Like, we'd have a certain amount of listeners in the city, and I'd be like, oh, we could do that amount of people. And then literally 1% of that, half of 1% of that really shows up in physical form. It's like, it's 200,000 people there. You're not going to bring out 200,000.
Right,
You'll probably bring out 1%. So I start building my touring data based on 1 to 5%. So anytime I go to a market, I know what size venue I need to book. So when you start looking at that, it's like, you got 1 million streams. You may have got then 1% of that, right? 1 million streams, 1% of that may be a fan. That's only 10,000 people. 1% may be a fan.
Right.
That's 10,000 people.
Right.
You feel me?
But look what you could do with 10,000 people.
Yeah.
You can make more than
But
3,500.
listen, after,
you feel me?
nigga, that's extra. So since you have 10,000 people now, I'm giving you 3,500 for this million, and you got 10,000 people you can monetize. Go make your money.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
You feel me?
What do you think about Kanye West going #1 independent? That's one of the first times. That is the first time we've seen someone actually go #1 as an independent act. What do you think about his business and what he's doing?